Jesus Revolution came out in theaters this past weekend and completely surpassed and smashed all box office projections, coming in at number 3. And it has Hollywood seemingly shook. The news on it is overwhelmingly positive. And I'm going to give you guys a breakdown of what I think this ultimately means at the end of this video. But first, let's recap what's been going on. If you guys aren't familiar with Jesus Revolution, go see it in theaters. It's the story of what many would say is the last great awakening. And it highlights the hippie movement converging with Christianity and the gospel, and how a bunch of druggy, sexually liberated hippies all get saved, or millions and millions of them get saved. And it's based on the story of Pastor Greg Laurie, who we just had on the channel. We had an hour-long extensive interview going over all the particulars and the details of the film and what wasn't left in and taken out, all that kind of stuff. Pastor Chuck Smith, the founder of Calvary Chapel, or one of the founders of Calvary Chapel, and Lonnie Frisbee, the hippie who just kind of is the energy that sparks this entire movement. And so that's the premise of the movie. It's very well done. Arguably the best Christian movie I've seen, up there with The Passion. I've only seen The Passion twice, so I've seen this movie 3 times. It's hard to call because it's been a while. But here is what some of the reviews and the news that's coming out is saying about it. Jesus Revolution astounds entertainment industry, places 3rd at the box office. Okay? And so this is CBN News, so they're going to be a bit more biased for it. But the big point here is that Lionsgate got behind this movie, and the projections, first week box office projections, it's important for you to go see this in theaters, guys, because this is how stuff like this continues getting made. The projections for first week was only $6 to $7 million. For context, when Chosen was in theaters this last time around, this is approximately what it did. So they were projecting similar numbers for Jesus Revolution. Lionsgate is behind it. This is the John Irwin, so on and so forth. But it brought in an estimated $15.5 million. So double what it was projecting, more than double what it was projecting, right? And so Fox, which again is biased, they're over here calling it a miracle. Jesus Revolution performs miracles at the box office, receives rave reviews from audiences. That's Pastor Greg Laurie right there. He was on Fox and Friends talking about this. And the interesting part about this is that despite mixed reviews, because, you know, the world is going to do what the world is going to do, despite mixed reviews, that the overwhelming user feedback of this movie is an A+ cinema score, 99% on Rotten Tomatoes from the general audience. So Hollywood and the critics like, man, it's okay, I don't like it, too much about Jesus, yada, yada, yada. But the people who've seen it have overwhelmingly gave it a 99% score on Rotten Tomatoes and an A+ on cinema scores, which, this is crazy, John Irwin has now achieved 4 A+ cinema scores, more than any other filmmaker since we've been compiling data for a director. To achieve that accomplishment once is a rarity, but to hit that mark 4 times is not only an incredible distinction, it's unprecedented. This is from Cinema Scores. This is who keeps tracks of all the movies. So that's a pretty big deal, if you ask me, that he was able to accomplish this. And so this just goes on to share more about the movie and all that kind of stuff. Here's even more coverage about it, talking about how big of a success it was, how it exceeded Hollywood expectations, so on and so forth. So I know what you're thinking. You're like, sweet, man, a Christian movie was successful. What does this mean? I'm glad you asked. I never thought you would. What does this mean? What I see a lot is that Christians are often the ones complaining the most about Hollywood and the music industry and media in general. We talk about how we don't get representation, and not only do we not get representation, but the overwhelming majority of the stuff that's seemingly coming out from Hollywood and media is the antithesis to a gospel-centered worldview. The antithesis of just even trying to take your children to see the Super Bowl or to see a movie or the Oscars or the Grammys or whatever. That's what we often hear from Christians. Now, my critique to Christians has always been, sweet, put your money where your mouth is. Awesome. Go and support the Christian artists that are doing a good job. You don't like what's going on in mainstream music? Neither do I. Go support musicians that are doing something great in the name of Jesus, and don't just bicker about them with regards to what you do or don't agree with and how you wish they were this slant theologically. Go and support ones that you do agree with and put your money where your mouth is. You don't like what's coming out from Hollywood and media? Great. Support The Chosen. Become a partner on The Chosen. You don't like what other podcasters or what Joe Rogan is saying about religion on his podcast? Great. Support other podcasts that do promote your values, that do support what you believe, that do contextualize the gospel. Put your money where your mouth is. And often that hasn't been the case. If you look at The Chosen, less than 5% of the people who watch The Chosen actually support it financially, meaning I'm a partner, monthly partner with The Chosen, give $15 a month to help it continue getting made. Because guess what? It costs a lot of money to make films. The people who watch this channel, less than 1% of the people who watch this channel partner with us on Patreon. If we got our numbers up to 5%, we could do some crazy stuff with regards to higher profile guests, sharing the gospel with other podcasters and YouTubers, and continuing to contextualize the gospel in bigger formats like documentaries and all types of stuff, right? So it is about the resources if we want to leverage media to contextualize the gospel. But what many Christians fall into is that the world's going to hell in a handbasket. What does it all matter? It's all going to go and burn in the end, and the rapture is about to happen, and all this sensational stuff. But what you forget is that your kids are going to have to grow up in this world, that Jesus may not return for hundreds of years, that your contribution on this side of eternity with the things that we engage in, with the things that we partner in, with the things that we sow into, and I don't mean to like make it super duper spiritual, but literally the things you consume, whether it's just watching it passively, because maybe you have a Spotify or Apple Music or a YouTube subscription, or you're actually putting your money into these different projects. The things that you support is going to be the precedent that's set in these industries and the best practices that come out, and it's going to be what's left behind for your children and your grandchildren and the type of media world that they grow up in. And so I am, for a change, ecstatic that Christians actually showed up and supported this movie. I am happy that we showed up. Many folks begrudgingly. Many folks, where can I stream it? Show me the link to stream it. I don't want to pay for it. I'll just pay for my Netflix subscription. Not understanding how any of this works. Not understanding how media works. Not understanding how Hollywood works. Not understanding how the music industry works. Not understanding how these things work. Where at the end of the day, some of them do have some dark agendas. Some of them do have some goofy stuff involved in it. But at the end of the day, these are businesses. And these are businesses investing money in different projects, like Lionsgate has with the Erwin brothers, and they're looking to make a return on their investment. And if the Christian consumer continues showing up to stuff like this, you will see more movies get made like this. And you will see the movie get greater and bigger budgets. You will see more directors get platformed that want to contextualize the gospel, whether it's overtly in the way that we saw in Jesus Revolution, or maybe it's a bit more covertly that we've seen other Christian film directors. You will see more of this. Okay? And so if you want to leave this world better than you found it, if you want to actually impact things on this side of eternity and not just have your hell insurance and live your life any all type of way, waiting for Jesus to return, completely removed from media, completely removed from culture, completely removed from entertainment, cool, man, you do you. But I see a huge opportunity for Christians to rally behind the type of things we say we believe and put our money where our mouth is. In my opinion, this should have been the number one movie. This is the number 3 movie. It should have been the number 1 movie. Every time The Chosen goes to theaters, it should be number 1. Every time the opportunities are presented for us to consume these sorts of things, we should be engaged. We should be engaged because that is ultimately going to help these things spread. That is ultimately get more people curious about it. That is ultimately going to help platform other Christian creators, other Christian musicians, other Christian filmmakers, other Christian artists, actors, so on and so forth. And so my question to you guys is, will the next time something like this comes out, are you going to go support it in theaters? Well, the next time something like this comes out, are you going to help get it to number 1? My question to you guys is, do you actively support the things that you believe in, that you say you believe in when it comes to media and entertainment? Because I'm all for solid, healthy theology. And I do agree that bad theology hurts people. But I also know that oftentimes people need to hear a narrative and see a story, and people speak to them differently than just, here's what the scriptures say, FAQ, this is what it is, and just head knowledge of what the Bible says. No. Sometimes we need to see it on a screen. Sometimes we need to hear it melodically. Sometimes we need to hear other people's testimonies. Sometimes some people, FAQ style informational knowledge just scratches the surface. They need to get their imagination captured a little bit different. And that's the beautiful part about film, about music, about media, about podcasting, about art in general. I see us right now with a massive opportunity in front of us. And I would just hope that you guys would consider going the extra mile. Partner with me if you want to, but just partner with someone. That's the big message here. Go see Jesus Revolution in theaters. If you haven't, go buy your ticket. Go see it a second time. I've seen it 3 times, okay? Go support it. Why? Because ultimately that's going to signal to Hollywood, hey, maybe you guys want to tone down some of this debauchery and insanity that you keep putting out and platform some more Christian creators and Christian filmmakers. Why? Because there's actual demand for it, and we support and partner. If you guys want to see my full interview with Pastor Greg Laurie, giving you some of the behind the scenes of the story, we'll have that pinned up over here. If you guys want to partner with us for only $5 a month, get exclusive access, Discord, early podcasts, so on and so forth. Less than 1% of people who watch this channel actually partner with us. Consider partnering with us over here for only $5 a month. I'll see you over there, all right? Peace.